Ooh, you're going to crucify me for this one. But I think most of y'all are smart enough and will listen to reason. So, yes, we're continuing on today with the rankings, but unlike with seasons 1 and 2, season 3's ranking won't be followed by the confessionals dissected video, as season 3 is a nightmare to figure out. There are so many confessionals, there is so much editing present, it will definitely take me more time, so I'm leaving it for a later date. But today, we're doing the ranking of the cast of season 3 based on this point system, determining the biggest loser and the biggest winner, and then, of course, discussing some of the low, safe, high placements. And let me tell you, this season was a bitch to figure out from the top 8 to the first top 5 episode. And I know that there will be disagreements already, so I implore you to listen to what I will have to say, rewatch the episodes mentioned to confirm what I said, and if you still disagree, only then comment, just so that we can have a valid discourse. Without any further ado, let us begin. Obviously, in the last place we have Venus D-Lite, as she was eliminated in the first episode, without even winning the episode's mini-challenge. Venus D-Lite is quite known for being a Madonna impersonator, first and foremost, so much so that I believe there is a documentary about her. In the 12th place is India Farah, who placed 2 places below her placement on the season. India's PP score is 1.75. India, for Drag Race fans, is well known mostly for being picked up by Mimi and First in the 3rd competitive episode of this season, and then on All Stars 5 for being, well, not the most likable, though that is somewhat subjective. She's also remembered for coming into the workroom in the same look as Phoenix. And speaking of, she's in the 11th place with a PP score of 2. Phoenix might be one of the most forgettable queens of season 3, though that's not really on her. This was really a strong cast, so it's easy to get lost in the shuffle. If you haven't seen her in a while, do check out her Instagram. I think you'll be surprised by her new look in or out of drag. In the 10th place is Ru's previous hair girl woman Delta work. What was that introduction? I don't know. Delta's score is 2.285714 recurring, and given her frequent bottom 2 placements, she placed 3 places below her original placement. Delta was so funny and so self-aware during season 3, and even though she was part of the Headers clique, she was pretty enjoyable to watch. Who can forget her Ru, pick me Ru moment from Untucked? Also, and this may be a controversial opinion, but to me she was the funniest in the reading challenge of season 3. I know we'll probably never see her on an all-star season, but fingers crossed that Ru will get over himself one day and have her back on the show. Her fellow Heather, Carmen Carrera, is in the 9th spot. Her placement and PP score of 2.3 were both heavily fucked over by her returning for an episode and being eliminated in that same episode without even winning the episode's mini-challenge. Now, Carmen I admire to a degree, as she was the first Ru girl that called out RuPaul on his transphobia and just in general his not giving a piece of doo-doo pee-pee poo-poo about the queens that make his living. Plus, she's gorgeous, whether we're talking during her time on Drag Race, almost 10 years ago, or now. In the 8th place, we have the queen that we call Mariah, aka Mariah Balenciaga, aka Mariah Successful, with a PP score of 2.4, placing her a spot above her placement on the show. Mariah is fantastic. She didn't really shine on All Stars 5, but you have to go and rewatch season 3. She's the funniest thing about that season. She's fantastic. Also, nothing but props to her for basically doing my job for me, calling out nonsensical judging and obvious favoritism of Raja in season 3 after her elimination in the 5th competitive episode. By the way, the latter part was somewhat edited out of the 6th competitive episode, but you could still see it in her mirror message. Oh yeah, she's also gorgeous, but you already knew that. Mariah on season 3 said that Mariah came before Mimi, referencing Mariah Carey, and also the fact that one of her castmates was Mimi at first. And this sentiment is still present in this video, as after Mariah comes Mimi. Yeah, based on her PP score, her Hershey's first places 7th here. Her PP score is 2.6 recurring. It's so funny that Mimi is almost exclusively remembered for her picking up India Farah, but Mimi placed 3rd in both episodes 1 and 2, so she was a strong competitor up until she picked up India. If you've never seen Mimi's roast of Michelle Visage, go watch it now. It's essential viewing at this point. In the 6th place, we have the lovely, the legendary, the Step aside, I'm back again, so hot, so lit, adrenaline, I'm Shangela, say what? Started as a baby, now I'm all grown up, gonna take this words just to let you know, never listen to the haters, be a pro, cause I work my way, my dues, now I got the whole world singing hallelujah. It's screaming hallelujah, god damn it. Yes, Shangela, with a PP score of 2.8. She originally also placed 6th. Like in my previous video, there is no need for me to talk about Shangela's accomplishments and praise her. We all know how excellent and hardworking she is. And as some of you all love to nitpick everything I say, Shangela is probably the most mainstream Ru girl after RuPaul, of course. Not the most mainstream drag queen after RuPaul. Jebo vas, Pablo Vittar. There. Happy. In the 5th place, some may be surprised, is actually Stacey Lane Matthews. Her PP score is a nice 3. And she placed 3 places above her original placement here. I don't think we can talk about unintentionally, but also intentionally funny queens without mentioning Stacey, as she's become an important part of Drag Race meme culture. Not for nothing, but she was royally screwed over by the production with her being nixed from All Stars 4 cast last minute. So I hope she gets her time on an All Star season soon, even though, yeah, she probably won't do well, but still. In the 4th place, just like originally, is Yara Sofia, with a PP score of 3.083 recurring. Yara is one of my favorite Ru girls, and just in general, one of my favorite drag artists. Her look nowadays is insanely great, and while I do enjoy when she goes for the more feminine drag, I prefer her more avant-garde, over-the-top style more, though the blue contacts I cannot stand. Yara's story in the top 4 episode was completely heartbreaking, but honestly, Yara is fantastic. In the 3rd place, again just like originally, is Alexis Mateo, with a 3.16 recurring points per episode. Alexis, much like Raja, had a drive to be the winner of the season. Had Raja and Manila not been there, of course, Alexis could have been the winner of the season, because again, she just had that bloodlust towards the crown, which sadly did not always translate well in the challenges or on the runway. She may be a little more remembered for the absolute robberies committed against her on All Stars 5, so I implore you to rewatch Season 3 and see just how great she is. I mean, in general, you should rewatch the first 3 seasons. They were excellent. In the 2nd place, we have the winner of the season with a 3.6 recurring PP score. Now, I know y'all will come for my neck right as you see this, but trust me, even with the scores from the tables given on Wikipedia and Wikia, Raja is in the 2nd place, and those tables are so wildly unreliable. For example, for the top 6 episode, they marked Shangela as high and Raja and Manila as low, when Manila got better critiques than Shangela and Raja kinda was somewhere there with Shangela. If you don't believe me, rewatch the episode. But back to Raja. She's a beast on the runway. She, much like Alexis, had that drive to win and the confidence to win, which you could see from episode 1. You know how Widow Wondu dominated the premiere of season 12? Yeah, Raja did that already for season 3. She was excellent. Literally, from the first episode, you could be like, yep, that's the winner of the season. And in the 1st place, the runner-up of the season with a PP score of 4 after the revision of season 3 is Manila Luzon. I know, you might be shocked that her PP score is 4, and I know some will probably say, oh my god, you favored Manila because you like her. Has it ever crossed your mind that I like her because she is so excellent and because there wasn't a single week on Drag Race where she did not deliver? Really, her biggest downfall was that she put friendship before the competition on literally every single season that she was on, and that just kinda makes me like her more. Manila is like Suri Fields of Drag Race, so a legend. The biggest winner of season 3, so the queen that placed the most high above her original placement, is surprisingly maybe to some, Mimiam First, whereas the biggest loser is the first ever returning queen, meaning the first queen that got eliminated in a season and then came back on the same season, Carmen Carrera. Now the notes. I'll repeat myself from the intro. From the top 8 episode up until the makeover, that was the toughest thing to decipher so far. I had to rewatch the critiques and the episode twice, write down each critique, and then contrast what the main judges said and what the guest judges said to properly place the queens. For episode 3, India did not get as positive of critiques as Manila and Raja, but she also didn't get any negative critiques, so she is safe with them. Episode 4, in this episode, quite obviously, Yara and Stacy are high, while Mariah is low. They were trying to play up this whole thing that Stacy could have been in the bottom 2, which, no. Episode 5, Mariah is low, Shangela is high, obviously. Episode 6. We're straight up told who the high 3, safe 3, and low 3 are, so there is no confusion here. Alexis and Raja are high, Yara is low. Episode 7. This was such a weird episode to figure out. The symmetry here is not 3-2-3, but rather 4-0-4. Because every girl got mixed critiques, in varying degrees of course, and Yara's, Manila's, and Delta's leaned more towards positive, whereas Shangela's and Carmen's were more negative. Also, Raja, who got more negative critiques than one other queen, won this episode. But you all still try to tell me that there was no favoritism, because Ru and her knew each other prior to the show. Interesting, very interesting. Episode 8. There were no low queens. We could have counted Alexis as low and Raja as safe based on the critiques alone, but since Alexis was the first called safe and she got that "you're safe" with no added comments, we can say that this episode is the exception to the rule of symmetry, as, again, there were no low placements. Episode 9 is the top 6 episode, so every placement has to be filled, making my job hard as fuck, because no girl but Alexis got high critiques. Manila got 2 negative critiques, one about her look in the challenge and another about her toilet humor. The second critique, though, Michelle Visage said shouldn't be a negative critique, as Manila was clearly going for comedy and a little more campy, cheeky PSA. Plus, that second negative critique came from a guest judge who really sounded like she had a stick up her ass, so yeah, no, it's not valid. Raja also got 2 negative critiques, one about her being somewhat cold during the challenge. That also led to the second negative critique, that her PSA was boring. Both Manila and Raja got great critiques on their runways. Shangela got mixed critiques on both her runway and her PSA. Since Raja was left on stage with Yara and Carmen, we have to label Raja as low. As much as it pains me, cause her runway presentation was killer this episode. Shangela is then safe and Manila high. Episode 10, Yara is safe, I believe, Manila is high, and Alexis is low. Episode 11, the judges really disliked Raja's red carpet look, which, by the way, I loved. It's one of my favorite looks of hers, mostly because of the hair. Whereas Manila got minimal negative critiques, and the judges as a whole enjoyed her entire presentation. So, Raja is safe, and Manila high. Episode 12, while Alexis did get slightly more negative critiques than Yara, the judges really liked the family resemblance that Alexis and her partner exhibited. Plus, while getting only slightly more negative critiques, Alexis also got more positive critiques too. So, Alexis high, Yara safe. And that's it. That's the video. Other than saying, please do be nice in the comments, I have nothing else to say. So, thank you for watching.